trade world? It's like Master D is selling Coke, right? And you're like Master T selling Tide? Are you just like, I can't imagine you're getting a lot of street cred. Although, when the other drug dealers need their clothes washed, they know who to come to. I want to see the drug deal where the guy, need some black tar heroin. All right, what do you got? I got 8 bottles of Tide. You need 9. This is the good stuff. Last week you told me it was 7. Well, the price has gone up. I've got 12 illegitimate children, and they're all very dirty.
Now, time for the Jon Justice Show on 104.1 The Truth. Right talk for Tucson.
707. Trust me, man, Obama gets another 4 years. We're all going to be bartering with Tide. Or if it's my household, it's all free and clear. Make sure you get the free and clear. Not that producer Tony will have to be buying laundry detergent for my household, but holy cow. All free and clear. Yeah, that falls into the whole jelly, preserves, jam. Which, by the way, I found out had nothing to do with my wife. That was all my son. So 751-1041 is the phone number. This hour, how Obama plans to win the election. Pander, freebies, support your mediocre lifestyle, cater to lazy people in hopes that they vote for him. That's essentially what it comes down to. Before we get into that, I also have some interesting takes on the polls. And this is important from the standpoint of, for as much as I wish everybody would ignore the polls, people aren't going to. Okay? It's like the longest Super Bowl game ever, and the polls are the points. It's what it comes down to. People are. I'm not going to be able to look away. You're not going to be able to look away. But you've got to look at these armed with knowledge of what is really going on. Because for as much as the mainstream media is in the tank for Obama, so are these pollsters. Everybody's got a stake in this now. Barack Obama has spent 4 years ensuring that enough people and their credibility is out there on the line, that enough people have skin in this game where they personally cannot afford to have Obama lose because their credibility will diminish. That's in regards to the media. That's in regards to the pollsters. I mean, all of it is, that's what they've done. They've been great at it. All right, before we get into this, I want to go to a friend of the show, Jim. I believe he wants to comment on last hour and Obamacare. I could be wrong, though. Good morning, Jim. Welcome to the Jon Justice Show either way.
Morning, John. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. Nice to hear from you.
Just a little insight. Having gone from the private sector to working for Uncle Sam, physicians are people like anybody else, and the things that motivate them are, there's some altruism, but the bottom line is, what you're producing and what you're taking home. And when you go from the private sector, where you're basically doing, if you compare it to factory work, you're doing piecework, so now you're working as an hourly wage, there's no incentive to produce. And so things slow down dramatically.
Yep.
In 8 hours, I can do 4 hours worth of work, where, in the past, in the private sector, in 8 hours, I did 8 hours worth of work because there's a carrot at the end of the stick, and the carrot's gone.
Yep. It's frightening.
So, yeah, it slows things down. There's no incentive to produce. You get there when you're supposed to get there, and you go home when it's time to go home. And in between, there's nothing to make you want to hump it.
Well, and people are overworked. They're overworked and underpaid. Everybody's just fried. Everybody's just tired. And the energy level to go and succeed and to get there, it's gone. People are just the life has been sucked out of them.
I can't really say it, I don't want to say it, but the organization that I'm working in, if it were a business, it would have gone bankrupt a long time ago.
Right. Oh, sure.
And the other thing that's interesting is they have little pots of money, and if they don't spend that money, the pots go away.
Right.
Or they buy stuff just for the sake of buying stuff.
I've got Jim, and I got to grab another phone call. But thanks for calling in, man. It was great to great to hear from you. I want time to get to it today. I have an interview because we're going to get into this next hour. Shockingly, I'll be talking about the streetcar at one point. But I've got an interview with Mayor Ryback out of Minneapolis. He was interviewed on a local news talk station there. This was the guy who said, "Hey, Obama's giving out free money to build a streetcar. We can too." So this local morning show interviewed him, and essentially he admitted that there was no demand for it at all. That the only reason why they were doing it is because Obama was giving away free money. Why not take it? I was talking to somebody else about the streetcar, and they said they'd gotten into a conversation with somebody within the local government, and they asked him, well, what if we stop the streetcar? And they said, well, we'll lose the funding, and it'll go back to the government. And it's like, well, okay, and what's wrong with that? Let's talk to Carl. Good morning, Carl. Welcome to the Jon Justice Show.
Yeah, good morning, John. You were bringing up how Obama's going to try to win this election.
Yeah, I got a stack of stories here how he's going to do that. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, he's going to use the same Democratic playbook. He's going to lie first,
yeah,
of all, and for the American people to be so ignorant as to allow his lies to come truths in their mind is just beyond me. You know, Ron Barber went on the floor of the House about 3 weeks ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, to set up this latest ad that they're trying to run against Jeff Flake. He basically brought in an amendment, a last-minute amendment, to try to, which was part of the extending the funding for all of us, for the government for another 6 months.
Sure.
And he tried to make it all about the military, and he was going to extend their funding for another year, for at least a year. Well, the whole thing was set up to have Republicans vote against it because it was a procedural type situation. And people don't pay enough attention. And I recommend C-SPAN once in a while. It's a very boring show, but once in a while you can tune in and find out what these guys are up to. And that's exactly what's going on now. And they're just going to lie.
Yeah. Thanks for the
just looking to see
as
what
always,
I can
Carl,
do.
thanks for the phone call. And